Hey fellow enthusiasts, this is Tommy Lanham and I am on a mission to break the monotony of the mundane and the mediocre by bringing as much enthusiasm to as many businesses, ministries, marriages, and individual lives as I possibly can. Welcome to Duct Tape Devotions.
Here we go.
Hey, I want to share with you a passage of scripture out of Matthew chapter 12, verse 34. It's something that Jesus said in this verse. He says, "For out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks." One of the things that I often talk about is passion. I believe we need to tie into our passion. Matter of fact, my definition of the word enthusiasm is a God-inspired fire ignited deep within your soul that drives you to never settle, to live with passion, and to turn the world upside down. If we're truly going to experience our enthusiasm, then we have to tie in to what it is we are passionate about. And oddly enough, several times people have asked me, how do you find your passion? That seems a little odd to me because maybe it's just been easy for me to find my passion. But for some people, it is more of a difficult task. And there's several things that you could do to find that. Look at what you were passionate about as a kid. Because oftentimes, we try to stifle that passion as we get older. When we're very young, people always say, oh, you can be what you want to be. You can do what you want to do. And as we get older, get into high school and college, people start saying, well, you got to be practical. And my response to that is, God, please save us from practical people. Okay? What's practical about a man rising from the dead to save mankind? That's not practical, but it happened. Okay? What's practical about marching around the walls of Jericho to make the walls fall down? That's not practical, but it happened. Okay? So, what is most practical is not always the best answer. Sometimes it's, where is your passion? Where is your God-given passion leading you? Now, we got to make sure it's from God because there can be negative passion as well, right? But if it's a godly passion, it may not be practical, but it may be the very thing we need to do. What did you like to do when you were a kid? What were you passionate about when you were a kid? Another way to kind of discover your passion is to ask yourself this question. If money was not an issue and I knew I could not fail, what would I do with my life? But I tell you, one of the best ways to discover your passion is, what do you talk about the most? What do you really enjoy talking about? Because Jesus said in this passage, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. What is it that you just love to talk about? And when somebody else is talking about it, man, you got to jump into the conversation because you love talking about that particular subject. What is it you talk about the most? And I'm not talking about negative stuff. I'm not talking about putting people down. I'm not talking about being negative and all this stuff. But I'm talking about those specific subjects that you enjoy talking about. Your eyes light up and you kind of feel a rush when that subject is being talked about. It kind of gives you some energy. I mean, you may be going through your day and you're just like, oh, this day, I don't know when this day is going to end. I wish it'd be over. And all of a sudden, somebody talks about something that you have a passion about. And all of a sudden, you're like, yeah, let's talk about that. And you get into the conversation. Why? Because it's a hint as to what your passion is. So find out what it is you love talking about. Maybe you've never stopped to think about what are those things that you talk about the most in a positive light. I would encourage you to do that. Over the next couple of days, today, tomorrow, and the next day, just keep a record, a mental record, or maybe even write it down. What is it that I love talking about the most? Because that's a pretty good indication as to what your passion may be. And once you tie into your passion and you begin to live that out, man, it will ignite your enthusiasm. Hey guys, if you want to be a part of the fellow enthusiast community, one of the best ways to do that is to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking on the button below. I know you want to do it. Go ahead, do it now. It will ignite your enthusiasm. Come on.